Hey guys, today we're going to be taking you through the daily morning routine. This is going to be made up of a bunch of what we call CARs. CARs is an acronym that stands for Controlled Articular Rotation. What this means is to take one individual joint through its greatest active rotational movement. What this is going to do is it's going to promote blood supply to the joint. That blood supply is going to bring oxygen, nutrients, remove waste products. These CARs should be done daily. They can be done at any point throughout the day. And I'm going to step-by-step walk you through how to go through what we call the daily morning routine. Chris over here is going to stand. When we're doing our CARs, we want to think about a few things. The first thing is what we call irradiation. So irradiation is just essentially creating tension. So if you're doing CARs earlier on in the day, we want to have lower amounts of irradiation. 20 to 30% of what we call maximum voluntary contraction, or the maximum amount of effort we're going to produce. When we think about irradiating, we want to think about it at two places. One is through the rest of our body to keep ourselves still, and two is whatever joint or area we're moving, we want to think about moving that through space or moving that through air that's about 20% more, 20 to 30% more dense than it actually is. So you're creating tension at the area that's moving. You're then creating tension at all the surrounding tissue in your body. That's going to help keep you still, and that's going to give you a little bit more out of these. The second thing I want you to be very aware of while you're doing these CARs is compensating. When we're moving a joint, we want to be moving that joint on its own. So I'm going to go through, and you're going to see as I take Chris through these CARs here, we're going to be watching for some common compensations. We're not worried about necessarily how far you're moving. We're worried about where that movement is coming from. So with Chris, I'm going to have him. We're going to start with the neck. Feet are going to go just under hip width apart. We're going to lock out his knees. We're going to bring his arms by his side. And what I'm going to have him do, we're going to keep tension through the body. We're going to pack the ribs down. We're going to start by packing the chin down, roll the chin as far as we can. We're going to hold nice and slowly. We're going to rotate at the neck, follow the collarbone. From there, what we're going to do is laterally flex, bring the ear towards the shoulder as far as we can, pack the chin in, and wrap that neck back and around as far as we can. Ear to shoulder, chin goes down and around. Excellent. So he's not moving through anywhere but that neck. And we're going to do about 3 to 5 repetitions each direction. I'll get Chris to do another couple here for you. Nice and slow and controlled. And last one. Excellent. From here, we're going to do the scapula. So what I'm going to have him do, we're going to take one hand, we're going to open it up. We're going to squeeze this hand in by his side. I'm going to have you turn to the side for me here, Chris, just so that we can see. What we're trying to do right now is we're trying to get the shoulder blade or the scapulothoracic joint, where the shoulder blade moves against the rib cage, to move through as much space as we can. So what we're looking for here, we're going to try and make sure that this elbow stays locked out, and we're trying to move the shoulder blade against the rib cage as much as we can. So what I'm going to have him do, we're going to reach forward as far as we can. So push the shoulder blade forward. Good, and lift up as high as we can. Now pull back as far as we can. Excellent, and tuck down. And we're going to do this again, continue moving. So as we do this, when we go forward, what we want to do is we want to make sure that arm stays pasted to his body, and we want to really reach that shoulder blade forward as far as we can, and then lift up. Excellent. And again, nice and slow and controlled. Excellent. So that's the neck, that's the shoulder blade. Let's go for the shoulder joint. So I'm going to have him face the camera here. What we're going to do, we're going to do a lower level variant of the shoulder CARs right now. And we're going to do something called capture the CARs, where we're just hitting that rotational. So we're going to bring this arm up to a 90-degree angle. So the arm is parallel to the ground. We're going to take our other hand. We're going to place it on a rib cage. We're going to make a fist here, hold. And from there, all we're going to do is we're going to slowly rotate in as far as we can and hold. And then we're going to come up as far as we can. And we're going to hold. Beautiful. And continue moving. So we want this upper arm to stay completely parallel to the ground. And what we're watching for, we only want to rotate in as far as we can before that shoulder blade wants to try and ride up against the rib cage. And we're going to go out as far as we can. Excellent. One other thing we're watching for, continue moving, is that we don't want this rib cage to be flaring up. We want to be moving just the shoulder here, so we don't want that spine to be moving to compensate. We're trying to get absolute movement at the shoulder joint here. Excellent. Good. Okay, we're doing the major joints today, so we're going to move on to the spine here. So I'm going to get Chris to move into a quadruped position. And from here, what I'm going to have him do, we're going to pack the chin in. We're going to do something called segmental cat-camel. So we're trying to get linear motion at the spine. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about rounding out each individual part of the spine as much as we can. So we're going to reach this up to the ceiling. We're going to start from the top. We're going to move piece by piece all the way down towards the bottom as much as we can. And we're going to hold. And there, we're going to slowly stick the tailbone out. And we're going to come up as high as we can. And again, ready, nice and slow and controlled. He's doing a great job here of moving each of these segments of the spine independent of one another. So really reach into my hand here. It should be like a waving like motion. We're starting from the top. We're going to move piece by piece by piece by piece, segment by segment, all the way down to the bottom. And then in reverse. Remember, he's creating tension through his body. He's moving through air that's slightly more dense. Let's do one more, Chris. One thing that you can also do just to enhance what you're going to get out of these is make sure that we're consistently inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Really reach, really reach, really reach. Excellent. Good. Okay, we're going to come into a tall seated position. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to bend both of their knees to a 90-degree position. Hold, hands are going to go behind us. We're going to bring ourselves upright. From this position, we want to make sure that he stays planted on his sit bones at all times. So what we're going to do, this is called a tall seated hip sleeper. We're going to bend this foot. So we're going to lift the toes off the ground and lift the hole onto the heel. Yes, perfect. From here, we're going to keep this hip pressed down. I'm going to get you to slowly drop your knee towards the ground. We're going to go internal first. Yep. Nice and slow and controlled. So we're going only as far as we can here, that this leg shouldn't move, and the crease of this hip, or his sit bone, his pelvis, should not be rolling forward. So try and go as far as you can. A little bit more, a little bit more. You should get a good sensation here on the outside of the hip. You may get a little bit running up into the thigh, and that's okay. And then once again, pivoting off of the heel, let's bring the knee out as far as we can for me, please. Really try and drive this knee out. You're going to get some sensation opening up that adductor tissue there. Keep reaching a little bit further, a little bit further. Good, and again, let's do the other side. And we're going to hold at the end range for a couple seconds, remembering we're not moving through the pelvis, we're just moving through that hip. Good, and come on out towards me. Reach, reach, reach. And we'll do one more each direction. Excellent. Perfect. We're going to hit the knee. So we're going to put one leg straight. We're going to bend one knee to a 90-degree position. We're going to take one hand. We're going to hook it under the back of the knee. We're going to take another hand. We're going to place it on our bicep. And we're going to take our opposite hand. We're going to push it on the top of the knee. From here, we're going to keep this heel pressed down. And we're going to lift the toe up. So heel pressed into the ground. Hook this heel into the ground, so you're gonna pull your heel back towards your butt. And all we're trying to do here is we're trying to get this tibia, or this bone right here, to rotate against this bone, your femur. So keep your ankle pointed up as much as you can, and I'm gonna get you to rotate out towards me as far as you can. Try and roll out at the shin a little bit more. Yeah, really roll out at that shin. Good, and then keep that ankle pointed up, and we're gonna roll in at the shin. Try and roll that shin in as much as you can, just like that. Excellent. If you think this right here is a midline, we should be getting as much rotation. What we don't wanna see is we don't want that femur to be moving. We're just moving through the shin. Good, and come on out to the side for me. Yep. And come on in, nice and slow and controlled. Excellent, we're gonna do one more. And drive that right up and over. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna do the ankle now. So I'm gonna have Chris come into a figure 4 position here. And what he's gonna do, he's going to then lift his heel off of the ground by squeezing his quad. From here, we're gonna point the foot up as far as we can. We're gonna slowly curl this down, point the toes down, and around as far as we can. So we're trying to drive as much motion as the ankle as we can, and the toes are following the same direction. So we should see a straight line down his thigh into his calf, and that doesn't change. We're just moving at the ankle. So really point the toes down, wrap that foot down and around. You should feel a cramping sensation in the foot to some extent normally. And we're gonna reach the foot up, toes up as much as we can. And again, slowly curl in, wrap down and around. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay, so we're gonna call that the daily morning routine. This is something you can do pre-exercise. This is something we encourage you to do frequently throughout the day. If you have specific areas that you find are a little bit more stiff on you, that you've discovered by doing the daily morning routine, you can give those areas more frequent inputs throughout the day. So if you're at work, come on up, pick an area. We're gonna give you lots of variants of cars to go through, even outside of this. So you should have many things or many different variations that you can attack that area with.